Hello and happy Halloween to you all. We are celebrating today with a Halloween themed puzzle. We had one yesterday, another one today, which is sort of a sequel, I think. It's called The Graveyard of Knapp Daneben by FJam. And I think I've done all of the graveyard puzzles that FJam's created on the channel before. They've always been fascinating. You can see that all of these killer cages have dates on them because we have to treat them as graves, and these are the dates of deaths. But in this one, we have the horrible, horrible, horrible Knapp Daneben constraint. I'm probably saying it wrong. I know it was invented in Germany, and basically not applying to graveyards, but it means that the numbers on these graves are plus or minus 1, and in this case it means the day is plus or minus 1 day. And that is going to be absolutely monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. Actually, I haven't checked. I've just had the thought. I wonder if we've got... Oh, I have had a horrible thought. What if the 1st of March is one of the dates, and then we'd have to work out whether it's a leap year the previous year or not. Or the previous month, sorry. Because one of the options could then be the 29th of February. If it's in a leap year. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to check in a minute. I can't go through all these dates quickly. Anyway, this is what I'm going to be trying. Now, I try this with some trepidation. I have certainly found these puzzles to be challenging in the past. And I just looked on Logic Masters Germany, where it's got an enormous approval rating. 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty. But when people like Mixo are saying very hard, I mean... Mixo is a heck of a solver. So yeah, Fool on Hill, another great solver. In fact, all 4 of those comments there are from absolutely outstanding solvers. And Fool on Hill is saying the same grave tripped me up twice. Okay, I wonder which one. It's going to be impossible to tell. Anyway, I'm going to have a go at it. It might be a long video. For that, I apologise, unless you like the long videos. And there are many of you out there who claim to. Thank you, if you do. What do I need to tell you about before we kick into it? There are a few things I wanted to mention today. I am expecting quite an important call from Mark. So if Mark does call, I may have to pause the video. I apologise for that. It doesn't happen often. But today it might be necessary for us to speak. So if I do get a phone call, that's what it's about. Otherwise, on the app side, a couple of things to mention there, both of which I think are quite exciting. So for all of our newest apps like Line Sudoku and some of the approachable Sudoku apps, the way that you get those is you download the free Cracking the Cryptic app on whoever your app provider is. There is a Steam version as well for those of you on PC. And then you can buy the packs of the puzzles from within that app. And the base app is totally free, and it comes with some free puzzles. And yesterday we added a couple of Halloween-themed puzzles, including one Fog of War one. So we thought you might enjoy that. Do check those out and see what you think. Now, in terms of new apps, Fog of War, it is really imminent. It might even be tomorrow. So this is an app we've been working on for months and months and months. Absolutely phenomenal it is, especially, obviously, if you like Fog of War. We love it, and we have listened to you guys who tell us that you love it as well. And we have come up with a collection of really stellar puzzles by some of the world's great constructors. So keep an eye out. I will announce it on Twitter the moment I know it's gone live. Our Twitter handle is @CrypticCracking if you don't follow us there. Now, in other news, also tomorrow on Patreon, we have, it's the 1st of November, and that means it is monthly reward day. And we've got this wonderful, wonderful hunt from the Skunk Works, Duality 2. So the idea is you take a familiar constraint and you apply 2 familiar Sudoku rules to it. Mark did an example in his video last night. Yeah, it's a cracking collection of puzzles. And I think that this time we are planning for the winner of the competition, which will be, the competition will close on the 20th of November. The winner of the competition will be invited, they don't have to, but they'll be invited to do some Sudoku solving with me. And we'll record it, and it might become a video, but only, obviously, some of you, that will be absolutely a horrendous thought, and I totally understand that. And you may well prefer to get Steam keys to games, which is one of the other competition prizes that we give. But if that might be interesting, that is something we're going to attempt to do, yeah, it might be interesting to some of you. So anyway, that's over on Patreon tomorrow. Now, what else? Happy birthdays. Let's do happy birthdays. A Halloween birthday for Chad over there in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Your wife Stephanie wrote to us, Chad, and said that the two of you watch before bed most evenings. Well, thank you both for watching, and I hope, Chad, that you've got some excellent chocolate cake today. Next, Paul. Actually, this isn't a birthday, this is an anniversary. Paul, from your husband Michael. You have been together 26 years today. That's fantastic. And you like you like the guitar intros. Oh, well, I mean, the guitar thing I'm working on at the moment, I don't think is suitable for the channel, in the sense it's not really a guitar piece. Incident on 57th Street by Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, obviously. And my voice is not, I wish I could sing it. I mean, it's such a brilliant piece of music. But my noodlings around that tune definitely don't deserve any wide publicity. But anyway, Paul and Michael, happy anniversary. Next, over in Norway, I'm going to say Simon. It looks like Simon. It's Simon with a different spelling. It's E-N at the end rather than O-N. But Simon, you've turned 21 today. And I know this not just because your girlfriend Mila wrote to us, but also because your sister Maren wrote to us. Isn't that brilliant? And I think Mila is baking you a chocolate cake, although Mila's email did suggest that as a thank you for the shout out, she could be baking me a chocolate cake, but I don't think I can read it that way. So Simon, I'm pretty certain you're getting chocolate cake, and enjoy that. And Maren, I think you watch the channel as well, so thank you for watching. And then finally, scraping in to today's birthdays, because I literally only got the message that this is definitely happening 1 minute before I turned on the webcam. Dimitra, over there in Athens, Greece, you've turned 33 today, and I know this because your brother Alexandros wrote in, and just in time to say that it was your birthday today. We weren't sure. So Dimitra, I hope you have an absolutely great birthday too, with, of course, chocolate cake. And that's all the rules. Now I get to do some solving. Let me read you the rules of the graveyard of knapp, daneben. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but anyway, by fjam. The rules are really short, actually. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. In graves, brackets, cages, digits must sum to the day, month, or year of the date of the day before, or the day before or after the date on the grave. Digits cannot repeat within graves. So let's look at that one. Now, so we have to work out the date corresponding to the day before this or after this. Now, there's something in the rules later that says all dates use the International Standard Gregorian calendar, which might be anathema to some of you over there in the US. So it then says that that's the day comes first, then the month, then the year. So this is the 19th of November, 30, the year 30. It doesn't say, presumably 1930. And okay, so the day before that is the 18th of November. The day after that is the 20th of November. So I think this cage sums to 18, 20, 11 or 30. I mean, this is ludicrous. And that could get very complicated if there are dates that involve leap years or 29th of February's. Oh, I think it could only, well, Have we got any February dates or any March dates that I haven't spotted? Oh no, no, oh no. Okay, that one's not. That one's okay, isn't it? Because that could go to the 28th of February, but it couldn't go to the 29th of February. Perhaps that isn't a problem. Perhaps that isn't a problem. I will hope it's not. Anyway, there is one more rule, which is that we have to escape the graveyard by carefully plotting an orthogonally connected path between the green and the red cells. Orthogonally connected means it doesn't go diagonally, basically. We move from cell to cell along the path, but we're not doing this because that is a diagonal path, and the path cannot move diagonally from cell to cell. The path may not cross the highest or lowest digits in a grave. So it's only allowed to move along the middly digits within a grave, which is going to be quite a constraint, actually. I'll mention a couple of things that I understand about that when we get solving. But anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, the first thing I'm going to do before we do anything is to say that I can't see any, but I can see 3 cell cages. I was going to say a 2-cell cage would have a highest and a lowest digit in it axiomatically, and therefore could not be part of the path between here and here. But there are quite a few 3-cell cages. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if this is how I meant to start the puzzle, but I think I can claim I do not see how that cell could ever be on the path. Because if it was, let's assume it's come from here, because it can't. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if this was on the path, how did we get to this square? Now, we can't have come from here, because that would mean we'd taken 2 of the 3 cells within a 3-cell cage. Now, within this 3-cell cage, let's say the numbers in it were 1, 2, and 3. We're not allowed to visit the 1, that's the lowest digit. We're not allowed to visit the 3, that's the highest digit. So the only digit we're allowed to visit is the 2, so 1 cell. So we can't have come from there. So we're then going to go to that square by force. The path would have to be doing this, but then we go into another 3-cell cage, and we couldn't get out of this cell here, because we'd have taken our 1 cell within this 3-cell cage, and you can see to move from this square we'd go here or here. So I think we can start by just saying that square is not on the path. Or maybe I shouldn't use black, actually. Maybe I should use a different colour. Thing is, colours in Sudoku, they all have different meanings. Maybe I'll use grey. Grey is a little bit less offensive, probably. But I was thinking I could use blue and orange, but blue and orange have parity implications for me, so I'll probably just use grey. Now, the same must be true of this digit. That can't be on the path for exactly the same reason. Can that be on the path? I don't think so. That would be a corner of the loop now. I'm calling it loop. It's not a loop, it's a path. But the path would go like that, and it would visit this grave twice, so that's not on the path. I don't know if this is how I meant to do it, but I'm quite enjoying this so far, just thinking about this one property. So, no, okay, I was going to look at this congregation of 3-cell cages here, and wonder about that square. But I think that's okay, that one, because I could go there, 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 there. The moment you get to a 4-cell cage, the pressure does relax quite a lot, because you can visit 2 cells in a 4-cell cage. Right, what about there? 2, 3, we can't go to that square. No, we can't. No, we can't. No, you can't go to this square. Because if you do, let's think about how we got there. We can't have come from these squares, because that would be a 2nd cell in the 3-cell cage. So this is a corner, and that means we have to have gone twice into this 3-cell cage, which won't work. So that's not on the path. What about that one? Oh. Oh, I tell you the other thing we could think about. We could think about, let me go to the pen tool for a moment. What we could do is to, you know, we can never go, you know, you can never cross these boundaries within a 3-cell cage. That might be worth doing as well. So the path can never, those two are irrelevant because we know that we've got this grey one here, but we can never take the path through those. Yeah, okay, so that's an interesting point. So we can never go to that square, can we? Because to do so, we would inevitably have to take one of these, and that would be a second cell in a 3-cell cage. So similarly, we can draw these lines in. I mean, at some point, I'm actually going to have to solve this, aren't I? But let me just see if there's anything else we can say, because it looks very difficult now, or very, you know, if we're going to come down through this cell, we're going to, you know, you get an awful lot of knowledge about how the path was moving, because it would have to go like that. But it could just come straight across the top. So that's interesting. That's the only cell in that cage that could possibly be on the path. No. All right, let's try and let's look at the graves. Now, I say let's look at the graves, but that is I mean, this one is an outrage. It is an outrage, because that is sort of saying maximum flexibility, because what I'm seeing there is that although, hang on, October has 31 days. I know that. Sometimes I get that mixed up in my head, but we're on the 31st of October, so I can't really get that wrong today. So this cage, right, this cage can't add up to 31, because the maximum that 4 different Sudoku digits can sum to is 30 if they were 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now it could add up to 10 if this was 1, 2, 3, 4. It could add up to just 30 being 6, 7, 8, 9. And it could add up to 29 if it was 5, 7, 8, 9. If it was the 29th of the 10th of the year 30. And the reason I really resent that is literally every single possible digit in Sudoku is included within those options I just read out. 10 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 30 would be 6, 7, 8, 9. And 29 would contain the 5 for 5, 7, 8, 9. So there is nothing to say about this, I don't think. What about that one? And that, again, this is it's a very extreme cage in the sense that it's either the day before, which would be the 6th of the 7th, 22. So 6 would be 1, 2, 3. 8, well then 8 has 2 options. 8 would be 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. 7 would always be 1, 2, 4, and then 22 is a big number, so that would either be 9, 8, 5 or 9, 6, 7. This is actually very... These things are very, very open-ended, aren't they? I'm sort of wondering whether what I should do is sort of notate what... The problem is the 3-cell cages, I think they've got 4 options in each case. The 4-cell cages only have 4 options. Well, unless they're at month ends. Oh goodness, how many days has September got? 30 days has September, isn't it? April, June and November. I think that's the rhyme. Oh well, okay. Even if September could have 31 days, which I don't think it can, that can't add up to 31. So this, what is the number for this cage? It's either the 29th of the 9th. I'm going to have to write this down. So this is either the 29th. It can't add up to 9. There are 4 different digits there, so it's not 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the minimum, so they add up to 10. So, but okay, but if 30, if the 30th of September is the end of the month, then the 1st of October would be 110. So this could add up to 10. Assuming I've got it right that this is the last day of September. So again, we're going to be in the same position here. 29, 10. Can't be 31. Can't add up to 1, so that's out of... But 15 would be possible for the year. So this is 29, 10, or 15. You see, even if I can limit that and the secret, but I'm going to have so many different options here. This could be 18, 20, which I have to do this way. 20, 11, oh, 11, I'm going to have to do that way as well. 11 and 30, which I have to do this way. So, I mean, 29 can't go with 30. I mean, it's a secret that I only tell my very favourite people. If you're watching this video still 21 minutes in, when I've done absolutely nothing, then you certainly are one of my favourite people. But the secret is that a Sudoku box can only sum to 45, because that's what the digits 1 to 9 do sum to. So if this is 29, we have to make sure that there's enough room for whatever this digit is. But I don't think that's actually impossible, is it? 29 couldn't go with 20 or 30 or 11. Oh no, it could go with 11. That would be a 5. Oh, bother. In fact, no, it would have to go with 11. Sorry, I did my maths wrong there. I thought it could combine with the 18 for some reason. It can't combine with the 18, because that would be 47, and that would make this -2. Oh, right, so if this is 29, this is 11. No, that doesn't work. Ah, I've done something. Okay. The reason that doesn't work is if this added up to 11 in 4 cells, it would be 1, 2, 3, and 5. And that would make this 5 impossible to place. And the way I got this 5 was 29 plus 11 is 40. If the box adds up to 45, then this would be a 5. So I can take 29 out, actually. So this is 10 or 15. And we've got to make sure that we add it to quite a big number. Maybe it has to be added to 30. Yes, it does. There we go. I've got something. Bingo. Thank goodness for this, because we need this to be a single-digit number, the maximum size of which is obviously 9. So the absolute minimum size of this cage plus this cage's total is 36. Now, how do we do that if this is 10? The only one of these numbers that gets to 36 or higher is the 30. So we'd be in the land where this is still 5, actually. But what about if that's 15? Yeah, that doesn't work with any of these numbers, I don't think. 30. If we add it to the 30, this would be a 0. Add it to the 20, this would be a 10. And yeah, the others don't work. Right, so we actually got somewhere. So now we get the digit. That is a 5. We get, this is a 30 cage, which we know therefore is 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a 10 cage, so that is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what? Oh no, just 22 could be an 8, 9 pair, couldn't it? Oh, bobbins. All right, so what's this? This has got a 5 in it, so this is not adding up to 6 anymore, because it can't be a 1, 2, 3 triple. It could be an 8 if it's a 1, 2 pair. It can't be 7 anymore, because it can't be 1, 2, 4. And if it's 22, it's the opposite. It's 8 and 9 here with the 5 to get to 22, rather than 1 and 2. So these two digits are extreme in the sense that they're either at one end of the 1 to 9 spectrum or the other end. And whatever they are, it's going to put massive pressure on that one. Because if this is a 1, 2 pair, this obviously can't add up to 10. And if this is an 8, 9 pair, this can't add up to either 29 or 30. Oh dear. The 5 in this box can't repeat in its own grave. So it is in it's in that P pentomino I've just outlined. It's in there somewhere. I mean, if we knew it was in here, then we would be very happy. But we don't. What about that cage? Do we know anything about that? So that is, again, that could be 6, 1, 2, 3, 8. All we'd know is it had a 1 in it. 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. 11, I see 11, 23. All of these they all have options. 11 has loads of different options. You see, these are evil. This is pure evil, which is appropriate on Halloween. Look at this one. 1/1/33. So that is the 1st of January 1933, say. But that could, so this cage could add up to 31, because it would go back a year. That would make this, the year would go backwards, so it would be 31. I mean, it's a 5-cell cage, so it must add up to at least 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 being this. Well, the triangular number for 5 is 15. So if we filled this cage with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it would add up to 15. So it's not adding up to 1 or even 12. Actually, we went back a day to 31, 12, 32. It's not adding up to 12. So it is adding up to either 33 being the current year, or 32 being the preceding year, which we could get to with a 1-day shift, or 31, which would be the day number if we went back to the 31st of December. That is, I mean, that is just evil. Evil. FJam. That is evil. Naughty FJam. Secret on that we could do. But the thing is, it's so unappealing to do that, because each of these cages has at least 4 different options. I suppose these aren't month. Oh, no. These aren't month ends. So there are only 4 options for each cage. This one is either, let's put the options in, 27, 25, 10. Oh, 10 I can get rid of, actually. Okay, that is something. This can't be a 10 cage, because these digits would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then look at row 1. All of those digits would be selected from the 4 different numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But there are 5 different cells, so you'd have to repeat a digit. So 10 is wrong. But 18, I don't think that has any pressure on it, does it? So this has 3 different options. Now this one, it can't be 2, I suppose. That is certainly true. So this one is either 26, 28, 37, now is there any jiggery-pokery possible here with month? I don't think there is. Okay, so there are actually only 6 options here. But then, okay, and what we'd have to do here is we've got to make sure this is, whatever this digit is, could bring us back to 45. So there are some things I can see are not possible. If this was 27 and this was 37, that's far too large. Then what we're saying is those cages add up to 64. And this square, in order to reduce this to have a 45 value, would have to be a 19. In fact, 27 we can just take out altogether, can't we? Because if I add it to 26, I'm on 53, and then I'm on 55 here. 27 is too big. No, I'm not. No, that's wrong. What am I talking about? That would be an 8. Oh, no, sorry. I'm just talking nonsense. For some reason I thought, oh, I'm breaching 45 and that's too big. But no, I've actually got 54 to play with for the sum of these two, haven't I? Because if I make that 9... Oh no, so if this is 27, this has to be 26. Okay, and that would be an 8. If this is 25, combine it with 26, that would be 51, this would be a 6. If we combine it with this one, we get 53, it would be 8 again. Combine it with that one, we're probably getting too big, 62, that's too big. Oh, 37 is always too big, isn't it? Because even if I only add it to 18, I'm getting to 55, I can't make that 10. So let's just take that one out, that's wrong. So far I've got this as 6 or 8. Now 18 and 26 is too small, because that's 44, and that would have to be minus 1. That doesn't work. 18 and 28 is 46. I'm trying to see a reason why that doesn't work, but oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So I've got this as having loads of options. I mean, this is bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. Is there something I'm meant to be spotting here to restrict this? I'm sorry, I can't see it if there is. I'm now desperately resorting to Sudoku and trying to think about that. And failing. Okay, no, I've got nothing, have I? Let's... oh, I don't know. Maybe I've got to think back into this box again. Maybe there's more I can do here. I really don't want to think about this cage. I think that cage is just I'm on a hiding to nothing with it. If I knew, is there some way I know that's a 5 or it's not a 5? That would, because if I could force 5 into this cage, I would know it added up to 29. I just don't think there is there? Is it some sort of oh, I almost had a brilliant idea then, and it's not a brilliant idea at all. What I was going to say is, where does that digit go in this box? Now that digit can't repeat in its own cage or in its own column, so it is in one of those squares. But given that it's either low or high, I don't think it really tells me anything very interesting. Ah, come on. All right, let's go back over here. Can we actually work something out from this cage? I know that this is either a 1-2 pair. Now, if this is 1-2, this can't be a 10 cage. So if this is 1-2, then this has 9 and 8 in it, and 7. Because it's either adding to 29 or 30. 30 would be very constrained, because then I'd have used all the high digits in row 2. I wonder if that's impossible for some reason. If this is 8, 9, then it is also powerful if that's 8, 9. Because then I think this can't add up to 29 or 30, so it would have to be a 10 cage. It would have to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then what are we saying? And the answer is I don't know, really. We're saying then these would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in the top row. These would be from 5, 6, 7. That would take 18 out as an option, because these would add up to at least 5, 6, 7. because they would only be selectable from the digits 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And that obviously has a positive value. So we'd be in either the 25 world or the 27 world, neither of which I think is particularly controversial. So now, where am I getting to this one from? I'm getting this when this is 8, 9. So this is a 22 cage. This is a 10 cage. So these digits, oh, that would be a 5 in the corner. Okay, let me think about that. So if this is 8, 9, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5, this is 6, 7, is that right? That's 13 there. Okay, well that doesn't work. I mean, that's incredibly complicated. I hadn't really paid much attention to this cage, but I think there is an issue with it. So what I'm seeing is that this cage, well, let's just go through this slowly. So I'm saying if this is 8, 9, this has to be a 10 cage. The 5 goes here. This is 6, 7, which is 13 plus this digit. Now the possible values of this cage, I think, are 6, 8, 11. Don't forget, we're already on 13 with these two digits. And I can't make that a 10 to get as high as 23, so it doesn't work. That is really complicated, but at least it's something. Now, that's not going to be as good as the other way around, because now this is a 1-2 pair. And that means that this is massive, but because it's massive, it has two options. It's either 30 or it's 29. Now, both of those definitely have 7, 8, and 9 in them. But the extra digit is 5 or 6, so I don't get to put the 5 in the corner. But, oh, it's not the path, is it now? I'm just wondering about this 1-2 pair. I mean, the 1 can't be, I can't go into the 1, because the 1 will be the lowest digit. In fact, you can't go into the 5. In that cage, the 5 is the biggest digit, so that gets grayed. Oh, it's going to be the path. I just totally forgot about the path. So in this cage, there is a 9 that we can't go through, and then the 5 or the 6 is going to be the digit that we can't go through. So we have to go through the 7 and the 8 if we want to take 2 cells of this, which we are going to have to do, actually, to get out of the green square. Because we have to move orthogonally, we can't go, we have to take 2 cells in this, and we're going to go through a 7 and an 8. These squares have to include, okay, these are from 3, 4, 5 and 6, and these are not 5, so these squares are now, well, they are restricted. We can't get to 23 anymore for this cage, because the maximum these two digits sum to is 10. So we're looking at either, we're not looking at 6 actually, because we can't make this a 1, 2, 3 triple. So we're either looking at 8, with this being a 3, 4, this being a 1, or we're looking at 11. 3, 4, yeah, 3, 4 doesn't work, because that would put another 4 in the cage. And if we're looking at 11, oh, 3, 6, 2, oh, 6, 4, 1. Okay, so there is 2 ways of doing 11. This is always a very low number. And, oh, this is it, right. And it will be the lowest number in its thingy, technical term for graveyard. So that is grayed off. So now, if I do go to this cage here, I can only go to that cell of it. And if I go to that cell of it, I have to go to this cell next, because that's going to be a corner. So I'd have to go like that. And that would have to be a 2. And that might be fine, I don't know. Do I know a definite digit that appears in this then? 3, 4... No, I don't, do I? I was wondering if I could restrict this. Oh no. So what do we do now? So now it might be slightly hard to get as high as 27 over here. I'm just looking, those 3 digits are all at least, so we can only have 2 digits from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 maximum here. So if you had 9 and 8, but then I could have another. No, what? This isn't restricted though, is it? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? If this was 6, 7, 8, 9, then all of these digits would be forced. These would be from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I don't know. This is complicated. If that was a 1, that would be a 2. That seems to be one of the options I had for this cage. Is there a rule I've not used here? Digits can't repeat within graves. Is that a rule I can use? I don't know. Sorry. I mean, there does have to be 1 low digit here. Possibly 2. Because I can't, even if I make this low, let's say I make that 3 in the corner, I'd still not have got enough low digits in the row. So that one of these digits has to be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or more, because if this was 6, then 2 of them would have to be from 1, 2, 3, 4. That would rule out 27 and 3, 4 and 25. Then it would be 18 here. And 18 we said had to go with 18 would have to go with 28. And that would make this a 1. I wonder if there is some way of proving that then. So where was I going with that? I was putting 2 low digits in here. Is there some reason I can't put 2 high digits in here? I don't think there is. I mean, it could be horrific. It could be horrific stuff. Like, there might be a path reason why you can't put 9 and 8 in here. I mean, that is a horrible thought. If you do put 9 and 8 in there, then what do you do? Sorry, if this is obvious, then well done. I am not finding this obvious at all. At all, at all, at all. If you do put 9 and 8 in there, then this is 9 and 8, isn't it? Now, you can't put 9 and 8 in there, actually. I've just noticed. Because yeah, maybe it's that. Right, yeah, there might be something. Because we do for sure know that this contains 7, 8 and 9. So if I do put 9 and 8 in here, this digit would have to be 9 and 8, wouldn't it, in this row? That won't work. It's the same actually with 9 and 7. If I put 9 and 7 in here, that has to be 9 and 7. So this is more, okay, this is what it'll be. So what we need to do here is only to put in a maximum of 9 and 6 which is 15, isn't it? And 2 other digits, which cannot be higher. And we could do the same. We could have gone 7. We can't do 7 and 8, actually, because that will break here as well into this square. So 9 and 6 is the best we can do for 2 of the digits, and the other 2 digits will be 5 and 4, which is 9. And don't tell me that's going to get me to 25, isn't it? 9, 6. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It gets me to 24. There we go. Right, brilliant. I've done it. Well, I've not done it, but I've done something. This cannot be... Because this has to contain 3 high digits, this cannot be higher than 9654, I'm claiming. I'm just going to let me just pontificate on that again. I think that's right. So 24 is the maximum size of this, which then knocks out those 2 options. So this is now 18, which must go with 28. We work that out. Now, if this is 18 and 28, the mathematics require this to be a 1, this to be a 2. This is now not adding up to 8, so it's adding up to 11. These have to add up to 9, and they are therefore 3 and 6, sorry. So this is not a 6, this is not a 3. 6 is, oh look, this is great, because if this is 3, 6, then 6 is coming out of, well, most importantly, this cage, which now must be 29 cage, so that's 5, 7, 8, 9. We don't get a 3 in the, we get a 4 in the corner. A 4 in the corner. I wasn't thinking we were going to get a 4 in the corner. So there's a 4 in one of these squares. Now, where do we go now? We worked out, didn't we, that this digit goes in those squares. That's quite good. So that digit can't repeat in its cage or in its column, so it goes in these squares. So this is now, whoopsie, whoopsie. That's a 2-3 pair. This is not a 2-3 pair. This is a 1-4 pair. That's very interesting from the path's perspective. 1 and 4 are the biggest or the extreme digits in this 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. So these are not allowed to be on the path. These are allowed. So let's label allowed as green. So it looks like the path might come... Oh, if the path came across there, that couldn't be a 1. Because 1 and 9 axiomatically can never be on the path. They will be extreme digits within their graveyards. No, what I was about to say is nonsense gibberish. Do not say nonsense gibberish. 3 is in one of those 3. 2. Oh no, don't stop now. I have done so little of 48 minutes. I've got 4 digits placed. I mean, I know there have been puzzles before where it's taken me longer than an hour to get a digit, but I really don't feel I've made much progress in this one at all. Is it really possible to come through the... I'm just thinking about how this gets out. Can it really come through there? No, it can't. Although it's complicated to realise that. Because if it does come through here, it clearly would have to take those 2 squares, wouldn't it? Which would be the limit of the number of squares it can take in a 4-cell cage. And then to do that, so these would then be shielded. They couldn't be used by the path. So the path would have to go round there. Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, the point is that's not how this has got out. This for that would have had to get out here. That's the only option now. So I suppose you could go up through there, but only having gone down through here. And we could make a Loch Ness monster. So I don't think that is the way that this gets out. But that could still be. It could just, probably it can go straight across the top, or it can go rinky-dinking down here. If they can't put 2 in that cage, does that mean this is adding up to 20? That might be a way forward. So, let's think, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because well, it's true to say this doesn't add up to 7, which is the day before. But if it was the day after, it would be 9, wouldn't it? And then this could be 1, 3, 5. I mean, I'm trying to work out why that doesn't work, but I'm not seeing it. So this either, let's label it. It either adds up to 9, or it can't add up to 6, or 20 is the other thing it can add up to. And if it adds up to 20, the thing is that could be done in a variety of ways. It could be 5, 7, 8 without a 9, or a variety of ways if it has got 9 in it. I just totally... Well, Mixo was right. This is not easy. This is not an easy puzzle, I don't think. It's very hard to know. That can't be on the path. It's a 1. Let's just take that. So, right, that's quite cool. Because I've somehow ruled that one out, this can't be on the path now, because if we go in there, we're cul-de-sacking ourselves. Oh, look. No, this is much better. Oh, no, it's near. I thought I was onto something. Look, this can't be on the path because of my Xing. If that's on the path, we've got to go there as the next move. So the only way the path comes across here now is if we go that exactly like that through and out. That feels quite awkward, doesn't it? 5, 6. We know this cage adds up to 18. It's only got... It's got a 1 in it, and then 2 digits that are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they add up to a minimum of 5, 6, which is 12. So this adds up to at least 6. That's good. That's a good deduction. I'm not sure I trust it, but I think that's right. The minimum these can be is 5, 6, 1. Oh, no, sorry. I've done it the wrong way around, haven't I? If that's 5, 6, 1, this is 6, but otherwise it's lower because this is getting higher. Oh, botheration, sorry. So this is actually 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was getting excited because I was thinking I had a quintuple here and I was going to be... And then I was looking at this and going, but hang on, if these are really low digits, how am I ever getting to 28? But now it makes more sense. The maths is right, isn't it? Yeah, 27 and 18 is 45. I mean, it looks like we might have to go further afield, I'm afraid. And that's a slightly terrifying thought, because I don't really know. Let's look at that one maybe. 23, well, no, it's not 23, so it's going to be 22 or 24. 24 would be 7, 8, 9. 22 would just involve a 9. 11 would not involve a 1, which I think there are at least 2 ways of doing that. And 10 would be 2, 3, 5. That's the only one I can see there that's restricted. That would be a 2. This would be a 3, 5 pair. Oh, I bet that's right. I bet that's right for a reason to do with this. If I could prove somehow that this was 2, 3, 5, the 2 would go here. This would be a 3, 5 pair. And now this couldn't add up to 9 anymore, because that square could not be 1, 3, or 5. And the 3 ways of making 9 in 3 digits are 2, 3, 4, which is ruled out, 1, 2, 6, which is ruled out, and 1, 3, 5, which would be ruled out. So I suspect there's a reason that has to be a 10 cage, but I mean, who knows what that reason is? I don't know. Okay, maybe I've got to look at... well, this one looks a bit strange. I can see it can't add up to 4. It's a 5-cell cage, but it could add up to 18. Oh, okay. Okay. Right, I'm noticing here this cage can't have a 2 in it. I mean, if that is 1, 3, 5, which is the only way this is a low total, this has got to be whopping. But it could be whopping. It could be whopping because it's got 35 as one of its options. Maybe this has to be 35. Maybe that's the point. Right. So, if it's 35 in 5 cells, it is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the only way of doing it. If it's not that, it can't add up to 4. So it's either 18, which it can't be. It can't be 18 because the triangular number for 6 is 21, which means those 6 squares there would have to have a minimum total of 21, which means this pentomino has a minimum value of 19 if I construct it out of all the lowest digits I can that are not 2, which can't go in it. Now 19 is more than 18, so it can't add up to 18. So it could be 20, but if it's 20 without a 2, then the 6 cells are adding up to 22. So there's only one way of doing that, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So this, right, got it. Okay, so this is huge actually. Yeah, because now what we've deduced is this is either 20 in a very specific way, which is this way, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. That's option 1. Now note, in that option there is a 5 in here, and the 5 is not there, it is in that tetromino. The other option for that cage is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, adding to 35. Again, there's a 5 in it in there. So either way round, 5 is in there, and it is not in the 9 cage, which means it's not a 9 cage. It can't be that one. So it is a 20 cage without a 5 in it, so it has got a 9 in it now. Because it can't be 5, 7, 8 anymore. Oh, but if it's... Oh, no. Well, yeah, that's fine, isn't it? This is going to have to be low, then. I feel this is going to be low, but let's just prove it to ourselves slowly. So we know it adds up to 20. We know, therefore, it's got 9 in it. And 2 more digits that add up to 11. But more importantly, if this was a 35 cage, and we made that as big as we could, that would have to be the 9 in it, in fact, because the 9's in there. So we make that 9. These add up to 26, and they add up to 20, and that's 46, 48, and we haven't even completed the box yet, which is supposed to, in total, only add up to 45. That doesn't work. So knowing that this is 20 teaches us that this is 20, and we know the construction of it. Wow, so it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and that's not 5. And these aren't 1. But don't... Yeah, there's going to be some interaction here. So... Yeah, okay, let's think about how the extra 11 is made up in this 20 cage. Now there are 4 ways in theory, but many of them are impossible. Firstly, 2, 9 is clearly impossible. We'd have 2 2s in the box. Now 5, 6 is impossible because there's a 5 in there. 4, 7 is impossible because where would I put the 4 and the 7 in this pentomino? They both have to go there. So the only option left for this is 9, 3, 8. And then this can't have 3 in it in the box, so that's a 3. This is 1, 4, 5, 7, so that is a 6, so that's a 6, that's a 3. That's, oh, this is lovely, good grief, it's actually doing things. Let's just take a moment and think about whether we can do any better than that. There's a 6 down there. Actually, there's a 3 and a 6 down there. There's a 2 over here. That 6 is unvisitable. That's that cage. The highest and the lowest digits are the 2 and the 6. So that's all out of bounds, and that's good. That is good, because now we can't come out through here, look. Because to get to this square, we needed to come through that one, so that's out of bounds. So the way we're exiting... Well, that's great, isn't it? Because doesn't that mean I have to... I think that means I have to come across here. From the work we did before, where I worked out that although I could come down this passageway, the only way I could come down that passageway is not from over here, and I have to get out. So I think this is an impossible cell to visit now. Let's just do that again. So if the path did go through, yeah, it's obvious. If the path goes through that channel, that's straight, then I've used 2 cells of this 4-cell block, and these have to be blocked off. And I could never get the path out of box 1 now. So I never go through that square. Unfortunate. Well, what that does mean is that the way we do exit box 2 is to there, which means this can't be a 1, because 1 is never on the path. So that is a 1. There's a 1 down here. This is not... I was going to say that's an 8, because it was an 18. That's total nonsense, because that is not an 18. That's telling us the value of this cage. It's very hard to keep track of this puzzle. Well, although... that being a grey 1, it sends the path downwards, doesn't it? Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. We said the only way of getting out of box 3 was through that channel. So that's a channel of the path. Now we don't... No, we don't. I was going to say, do we know that the path definitely just goes straight through this? But we don't, do we? Because it could do rinky-dinkage. I was going to say it couldn't do rinky-dinkage because it would inevitably bump into the high value in this cage, but it wouldn't if that was the high value. So we're going to have to pay attention here. Well, the path is definitely doing that, and it's definitely doing that, but I don't know whether it's doing that. Right, so what on earth do we do with this knowledge? Well, I don't know. That is out of bounds. That is definitely the lowest digit in a 389 cage. This, it's the 1 and the 7 we're not allowed to visit in this cage, but I don't know where they live. See, now I'm not sure whether I'm meant to do Sudoku or grave investigation. I'm ticking over the hour, or I don't know. I mean, these squares are definitely high digits. This row, there's definitely some high digits to come in it, isn't there? But we need some high digits to get to 28. So do we... Oh, I see. Right, sorry, I've dimly seen something here. Look at these 2 cages as a unit. Now, I think the middly digits in both of those cages, i.e. the digits we're allowed to move into to create a path, are both the same digits. They're both 7 and 8, aren't they? They are the middly digits. In the left-hand cage, 5 and 9 are out of bounds. In the right-hand cage, 6 and 9 are out of bounds. So if the path goes downwards here, this would be a 7-8 pair. These would both be high then and out of bounds, and that doesn't work. We can't go to this square. That is gorgeous. Yeah, if you go down, you have to turn. That's our 2 cells of the 30 cage used, so you have to go there. But now where do you go? You can't go back into the 30 cage because these are the 7-8 pair you're allowed to use. And you can't go here because this is going to need to be a 7 or an 8, but can't be by Sudoku. So that is really lovely, actually. So this square is not on the path, so that gets greyed. Where's my colouring? That's grey. So now we know how the path starts at last. So that square is not 5 or 9, that is 7 or 8. And then one of these is 7 or 8, because for our next cell on the path. So that is not 7 or 8. That is now 5 or 9. And it's not 9, it's 5. And this isn't 5, and this isn't 5. And this isn't 5. Oh no. Well, okay. 5 is in one of those two. I'm not going to take my 18 out. Well, although, am I? Yeah, I'm going to look at this. Because this adds up to 18. And I've got 5 and 1 in it now. So the other two digits add up to 12, don't they? Well, they can't be 5 and 7, because that will repeat the 5. They can't use 6 because it would require double 6. They could be, I can't involve 2 because we can't put 2 and 10 in. So this is 3 or 4, and the digit up here that goes with that is 8 or 9. That's it. That's a 6 now. I think that's right. So because I've worked out 5 is in here, and I know this adds up to 18, the pairing digit to make the maths work is 8 or 9 to go with the 3 or 4. And that is a quadruple in the first row on 5, 7, 8, 9. And that is a 6. And 6 is not visitable by the path in this cage. So now this has to drop here and go through that little passageway, which means this is definitely 7, 8, which means this is 9. So this is just working, isn't it? It's working. If we go exactly like that, we don't hit anything naughty. The 7s, 8s work. 7, 8 means these squares are now 5, 9, so that needs to be a 3 to make the mathematics work. This has to be the middly digit of that cage, which means it's not 1. So that's 2, that's 1, that's 1, that's 4. This is 9 by Sudoku. At last we're getting somewhere. Now, okay, this is 28, but we can do that by observation now. So what are those digits? They are 4 and 6. And these digits are 2, 7 and 8 by the looks of it. Now let's see if this adds up. So we've got 11, 28, 30. No, that's not what I wanted. I thought I wanted 28 here. And that's good because I've put 2 9s in the row. Okay, and if I reduce it by 2, I get to 28, which does work. Oh, good. Now, okay, so that's grey. Am I going to? Maybe I should do this. I don't know if it's necessary. Now, okay, what's the high digits in this cage? We know that the 1 is off bounds, the 8, so that can't be 8 because we know that's on the path. This is okay. Here's an interesting point to do with uniqueness. Imagine that we don't know at the end of the day whether this is an 8. So let's say the 8 in the final grid ends up here. How would we know the final path then? Why couldn't the path go like that or like that? It could do either, couldn't it? Nothing would determine it. So we know from uniqueness this is going to be an 8. I won't use that to solve the puzzle, but I bet you this turns out to be an 8. Right, so where on earth do we look now? Is it this? Probably this box, is it? But I'm not sure. Can I do more Sudoku? Is there more? Is there more path? Yeah, that can't be a 9 on the path. That's a very reasonable point. I mean, these are both off the path now. Because to get to that square, we would inevitably take the 8 from down here, which we're not allowed to take. That's off the path for the same reason. So I want that to, no, I want this to be the 8, don't I, to prove my uniqueness argument. Oh, what's that number? I can't read it. There's a number there. 11. Okay, so this cage maybe. I've looked at this one already. Oh, hang on, I've got a 2 and a 3 in it though now, in the row. So the minimum value of those squares is 4 and 5. Okay, I can get rid of 10 as an option for this cage now. Because for it to be 10, this would have to be 2, 3, 5. That's what I thought it was going to be, isn't it? Well, it's not that. Because this would have to simultaneously be 2 and 3. Okay. Now 11 would have to be 2, 4, 5. Actually 2, 5, 4 specifically for the ordering. And if it's not that, then it's big. It's either 22 or it's 24 with 7, 8, 9. That feels difficult. It feels difficult for that to be if that's an enormous number, that can't be an enormous number, which would force this to be an 11 without using 1. So it would need to involve a 2. And then that would force this to be high. I'm sorry, I can't see it. I can't see how to do it. What about... I mean, I just don't know where to look here. 1 here. Don't I need a 1 in that cage? Okay, maybe Sudoku is going to help me out. Yeah, okay, that's a 4, 5, 7 triple now. 1 is out of bounds, so that 6 can't be reached now by the path. The 7 in this triple here is out of bounds, but we don't know where it goes. But the fact there's a 7 does resolve the 7 and the 8 at the top. Okay, so now I can get some digits down at the bottom. I need 3, 6, 9 into those squares. Now what about those? They are no 3s in the corner today. We had a bit of a dearth of 3s in the corner recently. Okay, 1, 2, 7, 4, 5, 8 here. That's incredibly difficult to understand. That one is 19, 17 is not 12. We can't make it 12. 23, see, I mean, it probably can be 23. It can be 23. It's a very weird puzzle actually, because when you do spot a grave that has some sort of implication, the thing is there's a lot of information in the grid now, but what I quite like about this is that when you actually do notice the grave you're meant to look at next, it does sort of shout at you. It's just when you're in this position, I just don't know which one is the one that's constrained. It feels a bit open-ended, but I don't think it is. Every time we've found something, it's been fairly clear. Well, apart from maybe when I found that 1, 2 at the start, that felt very difficult. 1, here's a point. 1 is now in that cage. That's huge. See, look at that. That's it. Right, by Sudoku, 1 is in this cage. I don't think. I nearly know where it goes actually, but I don't. But now, do you remember this cage? This is the one with the funny clue, the 1st of January 1933. Now, what's the maximum size of that cage then? If it's got a 1 in it, if we partner the one with 6, 7, 8, and 9, this cannot add up to more than 31. Yet it must add up to either 31, 32, or 33. And why did I think 32 was an option? Yeah, that's right, because we go back in the year, don't we? So the 33 becomes a 32. So this does, in fact, add up to 31. It's the the date we're using is 31/12/32, and we're taking the 31 of that clue. So this is 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. We know that the 1 is in one of these, the 9 is not there. No. And then we get stuck again. That's not 6. Oh, that's not 6. So we're on. Yeah, these squares are 2, 4, and 5. Yeah, there we go. This is a 4 by Sudoku. This is a 2, 5 pair by Sudoku. That's beautiful because that gets me a 2 and a 3 at the top. So I've used all the low digits in this column now. We've only got 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s to place. We can... What's this one? This is a very large total. That's really important. Look at this. The value is not 10, it's not 18. It's adding up to at least 21 if we put 6, 7, and 8 in it. Oh, it could be 24, couldn't it, if it's 7, 8, 9? So it's 24 or 22. So, okay, if it's 22, it has to be the 6, 7, 9 version. And if it's 24, it's the 7, 8, 9 version. So it always has 7 and 9 in it. That's not 7 or 9. This is 6 or 8, which is almost very interesting. That's not 4. Okay, that 3 is a definite green digit within this cage. The 7 is the bad digit, and we've had the 1, which is the other bad digit. Now, what are the bad digits in here? They're 1 and 9, aren't they? And the 9... Okay, the 9 is now in one of those two squares, so one of these is bad. And one of these is bad. And this has got 7 in it. Oh, look at these totals though, they're horrible. 15, 17, 11, 24, that's middly as you like, isn't it? Middly, diddly. Oh, wibble wobble. I can't. Was it Dave who wrote in and said if I ever said wibble in a video, then I needed to pop up the Blackadder thing, where Blackadder's trying to persuade people he's gone mad. I can't remember. I think he's got things in his ears, and he just says wibble. That's very funny, but I won't remember to do it. Is it Sudoku then? 3. No, yes. Okay, 3 is in one of 2 cells. If I knew it was in that one, it would probably be useful, wouldn't it? I've got 4s in one of those squares. 5s in one of these squares. 2s in one of these squares. Is there some way we know what this is? The one I've looked at this over and over again. I can't understand how it's restricted. I mean, I think it still could be 11. 4, 5 with a 2. That would clear up a 2 here, 5 here. Either that or it's another of these whopping great cages. If it's a whopping great cage, it would be a 22 or a 24 cage. 24, that doesn't work. That's exactly the same reasoning that we had in the top of the grid. If that's 24, so it contains 8 and 9, it marries up there, and you can't put 8 and 9 into row 6 anywhere, because that square can't be simultaneously both. But unfortunately, this also has the ability to be 22. Now, if it's 22, wow, I can get rid of that. Okay, that's huge. That is a huge deduction. That's not easy, though, again. Right, so we need to study this, because I think I can rule out it taking its cage total from the day, which would either be a 22 or a 24. Let's go through it slowly. So if it's 24, this is 7, 8, 9. And now we have to put 8 and 9 into row 6, and there's only one possible cell. So that doesn't work. Now, what happens if it's 22 though? There are many ways, or two ways of doing 22. The first is this one, 6, 7, 9. Now that doesn't work, because look at this row now. I've got, by my count, 5 different cells selected from only 4 different numbers. Another way to say it would be where the 4 and 5 go in row 4. There's only one cell that could take those digits, and there are 2 of those digits, so that cannot be right. So we can get rid of that. Now if we instead say this is 5, 8, 9, I run into the same problem. I've got to put 8 and 9 in this row, and it can only go there, so that doesn't work either. So there is no way this is a high digit cage. So it must be that funny 11 option that we've been looking at. Which means that, and the only way that works is if this is 4, 5, and this is 2. So that's 2, that's 2, that's 5. This isn't 5. That's 7 by Sudoku, because it sees the 4, 5 pair. So that's 4. We don't get chocolate teapotted there, which is something to be grateful for. This is now not 7, so that's a 6, 8 pair. So this is 9. This is 8. 8 comes out of these squares. This is a 6, 8 pair, so we can take... Let's be careful about this. We can take 6 out of here and 8 out of here. We're left with a 1, 7, 9 triple. Sorry, I'm pausing to mull that over for a moment. Yeah, look, that's become a 7. Now we're looking out for that to be an 8, aren't we? I don't think we've proved it yet. 4 in column 9 has to be down there. Oh! No, better. That's a 5 by Sudoku, so we can do all of that. Now, 1, 3, 8, 9 to finish this column. I'm putting the options in. I'll be a good pencil mark today. This is probably the cage we look at next, but let's just mull that over for a moment. I mean, there's no way this can add up to 11. The minimum it can contain is 3, 6, 7 now, so that's obviously too high. So it's either 22, which would have to be 6, 7, 9. Might be fine. Or it's 21, or it's 23. I mean... that's so comic. It's comically over. You can't put 3 there. You can't put 3 there, because it's adding up to at least 21. At least 21. Yeah, okay, so that's a 3. That's still got me something. It's still got me something. We are going to be able to restrict this digit a little bit. I mean, 9 is now definitely in this cage, but that's not that surprising. I mean, 21 in theory, it could have been 6, 7, 8, but it's not now, we know that. We don't know it's not 21, we just know it's not 6, 7, 8 as the option, because it has got 9 in it by Sudoku. 8 is in one of those squares. So if this was 8, this would be 9, we'd be on 17. Yeah, but that could be a 6. Oh, Bobbins, sorry. Okay, let's work out the possible values of this digit in case that is restricted. I mean, these are from 7, 8, 9, mind you. Okay, so by Sudoku, this is 7 or 8. Okay, so let's check it. We've got 15 here, haven't we? So we know these have to add up to 30 by the mathematics using the secret. Therefore, this is... So if this was 8, these would add up to 22, and that is possible because the year is 22. So although I have to adjust the day, the year remains behind, and it works. Oh, bother. And obviously if that's 7/23 works, it's just a day after, the 22nd of November. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's not how to do it. Or maybe it's something to do with the path again. Can we do the path again? I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, the 7 was out of bounds, wasn't it? In that cage, I think it was. Those two are possible then. The 1 and the 9 were the naughty digits in that cage, so that's possible. So we could perhaps go like that. What about this cage? You see, this cage is horrible, because the 2 could be the low digit, if that's, say, an 8, or the 1 could be a low digit, if that's a 1. I mean, we know the 3 is a green digit. That's what we do know. What about that cage? No, we've visited the 1 cell we're allowed to visit in. That's a 3-cell cage. We learnt that earlier, didn't we? So what on earth do we do now? I haven't done much work down here, but when I think I did look at this and just thought it looked horrific. I mean, yes, I looked at this one. I thought that looked horrific. Now that, oh, okay, look at this date here. It's the end of the year again. So this one could be, let's think of all the options for this cage. It could be a 30 if it goes back a day. It could be, it's a 6-cell cage, so it adds up to at least 21. It could be, yeah, if it goes back a day, it could be 23. If it goes forward to the next year, it would be the 1st of January 24. So it could be 24. So it's 24, 23, or 30, I think. At least. Maybe there are other options too. Right, okay, but here is a rather good point. Oh, nearly. Oh, actually very nearly. Very nearly. Oh, I was getting excited then. I can't quite do it. Well, I can do something. That digit's interesting. That digit's interesting. Where does that digit by Sudoku go in this box? Because it doesn't go in the rest of its cage. So it's in one of these 2 cells, but it's not this one, I don't think. Because if this square goes here, it needs to be a 3, 6, or a 9, and I don't think it can be by Sudoku. I mean, I have got a 9 there, but also 9 here we worked out, didn't we? So I think that digit is definitely there, which means this digit is 1, 2, 7. Now, I could get rid of 7, because I know there's a 7 down here, but I couldn't get rid of 1 or 2. So this is not 7 anymore. These 2 digits are the same. So by Sudoku, they go in one of those squares. So if it was a 1, it would have to go here. If it was a 1, this would be a 1. If it was a 2, I don't know. I don't know. It's so complicated. It's a 1 or a 2. That's, I think, what we've learned, for what it's worth. Okay, that 4 does see that square. That can't be a 4 by dint of Sudoku on this tetromino piece. I don't. Maybe there's a way of getting rid of options from this. That's probably what we are meant to do next, isn't it? Let's try and think about that. So, okay. I mean, it really isn't appetizing, I don't think. Okay, let's try 23. Can we get to 23? These would have to add up to 17. So we'd need the 8 involved, and yeah, they would have to add up to 9. They could be 2, 7. So 23 is fine. We can't get to 12. We did work that out. These can't be a 1, 2, 3 triple. So if it's not 23, we are looking at a day number, which is going to be 17 or 19. Now, if we're looking at 17, these have to add up to 11. 812 works nicely. So that's possible. We might as well just stop there. 19. If we go 19, then these add up to 13. And 571 would be an option, for example. Wow, I mean, maybe there's a way of doing this, but I don't know what it is. So do we have to go back to thinking about the path again or something? I don't know. Or do we have to look at... Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know. I just don't know where to look. I feel like I've investigated things a little bit in a number of places. And I just don't know where to look. What could it be? I'm looking around. I'm desperate. How long have I had? 91 minutes so far. Okay, well, that's a long time. But I have at least convinced myself this is a hard puzzle. I do think this is quite challenging. Is it going to be something to do with... Is there some configuration of 1s and 9s here which is going to trap the path? Like if it was 9, 1, and then that 2. No, because I could still get out. I mean, okay, if that was a 1, that would be off limits for the path, wouldn't it? This would be a 1. So the path would have to be... But the path, I think, is fine there. I don't think we're closing off at... That would be a 1. My phone is buzzing. Let me just double check that, because I was expecting this call from Mark. That's fine. That's not it. Okay, so maybe we've got to do... or think about something else somehow. What could it be? Could it be... Oh, I really hope it isn't that. I just had a horrible, horrible thought. I was wondering whether... Is there a way of restricting that digit by the secret, given I know... Actually, I know that's not a 4 now. Ah! Oh, there's a... Sorry. That is a good deduction. That's not a 4, because it's going there. Right. So 4, because if 4 can't repeat in its cage, that is a 4. Okay, so that's not 4. Please do more than that. Oh, please... Oh, okay. 4 is now in that cage, which is now adding up to at least 11 in this digit and this digit. But then it might add up to 20, 22 or 23, and all of those seem incredibly open-ended. Yeah, that is not under pressure at all. 5. 5 is down here. If I could get the 5 in there as well, I suppose I would be able to limit this digit, but not in any useful way. There's nothing about it have to be... No, there was nothing. I know there wasn't. Okay, so maybe I am going to have to go back to that other thought then, which is a terrifying one. So literally what I'm wondering about is whether or if I work out all the possible values of this cage and and combine them somehow with the possibility of this digit being 1 or 2, I can limit this digit here by using the secret. That's my one thought, and it is not an appetizing one. It really isn't. Is there some way I can do better than that? Or maybe I just use this cage. Maybe that would be simpler, but it's not, is it? Because no, it's really not. It's really not. There are lots of different ways, I think, of making this work. Okay, but maybe I've got to label this digit. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. It's not 9. 1, 2, 7, or 8. It's not 7, because there's a 7 in here. 1, 2, or 8. No, that's not helped me, has it? Could it be the path? The only way I see it being the path no, I mean, if I knew where the 1s and 9s went in the middle box, I could see that might yield some satisfaction. Okay, what about the sum of that one? Have I looked at that recently? I've got 10 in it now. Oh, hang on, I haven't looked at that, I don't think. When did I look at that last? 10 here. Oh, well, 11 would work if that was a 1. 18 or 19. Well, 18 and 19 don't work. I can't make that 18 or 19. Because the options for the date don't work. Oh, this is a 1. That's massive. That is massive. Oh, I'm so relieved. I didn't understand how I was going to ever really get a restriction over here, but I don't think I need to now, because now that's a 2, and that's a 2, and this is a 7 by Sudoku. C's 1 and 2. So that's 1 in the corner. I feel like singing for that. This is not 2 anymore. Please, 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 just don't. Well, okay. What got me thinking about this, actually, was that I was thinking about the path up here. Now, look at this. I could see that there would be a restriction if this 5 was grey, and now it is, because those are the funny digits in this cage. Now that has to go over there, which is allowed. So it's not brilliant yet, but it looks like there might be a path going through this little channel that we're building. But have we got... Okay, let's take out that. We can put 2 by Sudoku in one of those squares. And at least it feels more... Or it feels a bit less... Oh, see, this cage might be the way to where we look now. I've got 15 in it at the moment. So, if that's a 4, I've got 19. Oh, that works. If it's a 5, I get 20. Which doesn't work, so that's not 5. If it's 8, I get 20. Oh, I get 23. No! So sorry. Okay, so I know that this bottom cage has a 5 in it now. I really don't want to do this. I think this might be where we're left, though. What we could do is there any way of restricting it, even slightly, if I could just get this down a bit? Oh, bobbins, I don't know how to do it. I'm going to have to do it the long way, I think. And what I assume is going to be the long way. Let's try and work out what the value of those can be. So, I mean, there's going to be, I think, 6 options here, I'm afraid. So, if this is a 4, then what are we on? Then we're on 13 for those digits, plus this square. So, we might be on 16, for example. If we were on 16, these would be 29. Plus 2 is 31. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work because 31 has to be adjusted, don't forget. So if that's 4 and that's 3, it doesn't get a good answer. But 13, if that was 6, we're on 19. Now these are 26, plus 2 is 28. That doesn't work. None of that won't work either. 22, 23, 25 is the other. That's great, actually. This is not as bad as I feared. If you do make this 4 with 9, then I think we're on 22 for those, which means 23 for those by the secret, plus 2 is 25. That is also ruled out by the dates. So by my mathematical reckoning, that is an 8, that's a 5, that's a 4, that's a 4, that's a 5. This is going great guns all of a sudden. Now I've got a bit more juice into that cage. But now this shouldn't be as bad to try and work out what the correct total is here. Because what are we on now? We're on 17. So if that's 20, if this is a 3, 25, 27 doesn't work. I hope one of these works or I've made a mistake. 23, 22 plus 2 is 24. No, that's the wrong way round, isn't it? That's 24. No, that would work if we went forward a year. If we went forward a day from the 31st of December to the 1st of January 24, that would work with the 6 here. So does 9 work? 26, 19 plus 2 is 21. That is impossible. So this is 6, and the real date that we're using here is the 1st of January 2020, or 2024, sort of. Okay, so these squares are now, let's just double check this adds up. 10, 22, 24, yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is not 6. Oh, it might, please do more than that. 5 can be placed in this box now. Is that 18? Is that... No, that's not an 18. That's a 1. It's a 1 or an 8 into the cell, looking at the logic of this column, isn't it? That's what it is. 1. Oh. No, that doesn't work. Sorry. I'm also likely to get confused between totals and everything. But now this has got 10 in it. 4, 5 and 1 plus something. And it has to be... Well, it's not 14 then, because that would put a repeat 4. If it was... Could it have a 6 in it? That's the next question. Very possibly. It would have to be a 6 here. Okay. If it's not that, what is it? What's the other options? We're on 10. 12. Can we put a 2? No, you can't put a 2 in there. Okay. So it's not 12. And it can't be 23. We can't put a 13 in it. Right. So if that's right, this is a 16 cage, and this is a 1-6 pair, and we know the order. So 6, 1, 6, 8, 8, 7, 1. Okay, let's get rid of my corner pencil marks now. Now this one is definitely out of bounds. See the path now, look where it's going. Oh, this is gorgeous. Because that can't be a 9 if it's on the path. So that's going to be a 7. And then that 9 is going to be... I'd love it if the path does an absolute... You know, if it goes like through a labyrinth in order to get home. An unguessable path. Oh yeah, look again. That can't be the 9. This is so beautiful. So that's... Right, so that's grey. That 8 is a big digit in its cage, so that's out of bounds, which means this is a corner, and the corner, it must therefore go there into a 2. Oh, no, that's 2 is okay. I was suddenly thinking that 2 is the lowest number in its cage. It's not. There's a 1 hidden in the corner there, so that's fine. We can't ever go into a 1, so that we continue along this straight, we have to go into the 5. Now, in this cage, the 6 is out of bounds as well. That cage there, so we can grey that in. Now, okay, so right, let's continue. So we've got 7, 8, 9 triple. I should be able to get that digit. That's a 3. Oh yeah. Well, actually, I'm not sure. I really am not sure. Okay. Oh, this is a 9. I was just wondering about that. Okay. Now that's a 9. Which does force the path up into the 4 through this pathway. That's also going to stop this being a 9, look. Which seems to place the 9 in this cage. Let's get rid of my corner pencil marks. This digit is now a 6. 2, 7 or 8. Oh no! Okay, it's not 8. So 2 or 7 in the corner. This is definitely green for my path. This will be middly within its box, won't it? So somehow or other. Okay, so perhaps we've got to do more mathematics on the cage totals. I mean, fair play to FJam as well. To keep this going at this point, where it just doesn't all collapse, is incredibly brilliant setting. It really is. I know. Oh, remember, I want that to be an 8 as well. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, so we've got a 9 here. I didn't see that. Right, so 8, 9, 8, 8, 7. Not put 3 into this row. This is a 2, 7 pair. It's going to give me this digit. That's a 6. Yeah, that's a 6. And we are left with a sort of deadly pattern, but something will resolve it. What about this cage down here then? So at the moment we're on 20. 22 would work. Oh no, 27 would work. If we advance the day by 1. Ah! Okay, have we done this one? We must... Oh no. No, this is the horrible one, where the year doesn't change and you can get to 23 by advancing the day. Oh, it must be this one then. I haven't looked at this one. 15 plus this. 22. Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Again, 15 plus 7 is 22. Advance the day, I get that. 15 plus 8 is 23. The year gives it. So hang on, I've done something wrong, I think. I don't think this is resolved, is it? Okay. Right, no, it is, in the sense that that is unvisitable. That's definitely the highest digit in its cage. So we must then turn down. Now, the 4, that's lovely, good grief. The 4 is the lowest digit in this cage, so that's out of bounds. So we go, oh, I see. Oh, that is breathtaking. What a finish. Because now, that 3 is visited in this cage. So it cannot be the lowest digit. But the only way it can't be the lowest digit is if you make that 2. So that's 2, that's 7, that's 7, that's 8, that's 8, that's 2. And the fact that worked means it must be right. So all we've got to do now is work out where we go. We don't go into the 2. So we must go into the 5. And then we go down. The 5 is visitable, is it? Yes, the 4 and the 8 are out of bounds. So that is the path. Let's greyify everything, greenify everything, and get rid of that. That is a brilliant puzzle, my goodness me. It is brilliant. Let's see if it's right. Yes. Solve counter 15. That's not many, is it? That really is not many. Well, I mean, it's you have to put the work in to solve that. But the great thing is the payoff is mighty, because it's been set by a very, very clever mind. That is completely clear at every stage. There are so many points in that where the logic was so tight and it sort of you had to knit it together. But when you did, you knew. Like, there was a point down here where I just couldn't. I didn't fancy the logic at all of trying to, work through sort of 12 different options. But then you discovered that if you looked over here or something, that you could make more progress in a way that was fair and didn't require loads of case testing. That's really skillful. It's really skillful setting. And And if you're still with me now on this Halloween evening, thank you very much for watching the channel. We try not to do a very long video too often, maybe once a week. This will certainly be that one for this week. Thank you for watching. Thanks FJam for a brilliant puzzle, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.